It is coming up on 6:40 here on Daybreak, and this week marks the 54th anniversary of one of the darkest periods in American history, the assassination of President John F. Kennedy.
But another man was also assassinated that week in Dallas, a man accused of killing the president. As Daybreak's Pete Galliman tells us in this unknown story of Western New York.
I can still pick this thing up.
For Isidore Izzy Bleckman, this camera is like an old friend.
I'm getting used to it again.
Izzy grew up in Chicago, but moved to Western New York several years ago after marrying a local girl. Over the span of his 30-plus year career, he has seen a lot, logging over 1 million miles over 50 states as Charles Kuralt's on-the-road photographer.
I spent more time with Charles and CBS than I did with my family.
But it was an assignment with this very camera just a few months into his first job at the United Press International's Movietone News that sent him on his course to greatness and put him in the front row of history.
Everybody else was in that room, shot the same piece. When he came out, it's indelible. You know, he had a black eye, and he said, I don't know why they got me here. I didn't do anything.
No, they're taking me in because of the fact that I lived in the Soviet Union. I'm just a patsy.
Bleckman had just arrived in Dallas November 22nd, 1963, capturing this chaotic scene as Lee Harvey Oswald was taken into police headquarters and charged with the assassination of President John F. Kennedy.
The next couple of days, we floated around.
He and his camera then gathered the locations needed to tell this dark chapter in American history, including the very spot in the book depository.
My hand's shaking right now when I think about it.
Where Oswald is said to have set up his sniper's nest.
And looking straight down from the window that he shot from, you can see how I won't say a simple shot, but how it wasn't that difficult.
And the spot where Oswald was ultimately arrested.
Photographed the Texas theater where the policeman was shot.
All places where events had happened. Little did he know that on November 24th, his lens would capture history in the making. He arrived at police headquarters to shoot the prisoner transfer.
Of course, we thought this would just be, you know, a few seconds. He would come out and they'd put him in a car and take him away. And I got there, and there was a mountain of cameramen from back to front.
A simple perp walk is what he thought.
And I remembered there was an elevator way at the back where they kept the prisoners.
He made his way down to the garage bay where that elevator let out.
And I asked the officer there if I could get a shot of Oswald coming out of the elevator. At least I'd have something.
Something, to say the least.
When they came out of the elevator, they must have been maybe 8 to 10 feet from me. And then they turned to their left and walked down that hallway at a pretty good clip.
Right.
And at that point, I grabbed the camera and I ran over to the parallel hallway, which was cut off from them. They couldn't see me, I couldn't see them. But they all came out, both of us came out at the same place. And I beat them down there, and I was winding the camera, just making sure I got enough power left to finish the shoot.
He quickly got into position.
So I ducked down a little bit and I started shooting like that. They came out, Oswald stepped in. And I'm shooting, I think, at an angle, like that.
Now, did you see Jack Ruby coming out?
Nobody saw him. He was invisible. That was it. He stepped in and boom. And I remember the sheriff turned to him and knew him. He said, Jack, you son of a...
And as that last expletive hung in the air, Jack Ruby was tackled as Lee Harvey Oswald fell.
At that point, you know you just captured history in that camera.
Well, yeah.
But Izzy says it isn't the moving image that sticks with him, it's this snapshot taken by photographer Jack Beers, showing an unsuspecting Oswald a split second before.
It just froze in time.
Before Jack Ruby's gunshot rang into history.
But again, you know, somebody was murdered that day, and it was Lee Harvey Oswald.
A murder that played out before a national television audience and the lens of this camera, preserving it forever in the film reels of the unknown stories of Western New York.